Hey,
Hey, how are you?
not too bad, not too bad. Although I probably should have said, do you have anything to talk about? Because if not, I was going to.
Yes, I wanted to talk about stuff for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. No problem.
it's the last thing that was spearheaded by this working group was trying to go from 2 years worth of um, releases, right? So what do we want to do next? What can we shoot for next? Is basically basic question. And
Yeah,
the thing that helped us there was the release team switching from like individual release managers responsible for a specific release to a group of managers that can like tag team to push a release out. That kind of like helped out, right? So I was trying to see what would be the next thing that we can shoot for here, and what would be the obstacles for that. And I think over the weekend, or was it Friday, somebody asked a question on Twitter, and my answer to that was like, okay, we have to get a bunch of features from beta to GA. Only then we can think about an LTS at that point. What was like, this is all stuff from older discussions, and I don't know if there's any new things that you all came up with or thought about. I was repeating what we had talked before.
yeah. So, I think the last time we talked about stuff was the sorry, hang on, I'm just going to post in the channel that we are actually having a meeting.
Did you see me pop in and pop out? So you asked me the question.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I got that because yeah, I got the email from Zoom being like, your meeting attendees are waiting. I'm like, oh, because I mean, because I got to get up at like 1:30 in the morning to do this call, so that's why I'm like, well, I'd rather have the call and have got up for something rather
I'm
than
sorry. Yeah.
that's fine. No, that's fine. Like I said, I'd much rather have got up and got the call for something.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the last time we talked about other stuff we're going to do. So I mean, now the KEP is implementable. Um, I mean, that's sort of a large part of what we wanted to. That was the initial goal. But yeah, we definitely talked about that in order for things to be supportable for a year, like, and to be more supportable, we need to make sure that you know we clear all the beta APIs out and be better and have everyone better about the yeah, getting APIs to GA. So I think, just trying to remember, Jordan did a lot of work on this. I think the last thing I remember, yeah, the last thing I remember was was sort of him saying, I think the only one left is Ingress now.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think we need to check with him. But yeah, so I think a lot of that work is also done. So the stuff that Tim had mentioned was yeah, talking about um, how some people have asked for slower releases and other people have asked for faster releases. And is that something that this working group needs to talk about? Because it came up a lot in the discussions of increasing the support period. Was, well, if we're messing with the support period, do we change the release cadence as well? And that's why the support period kept says 1 year rather than 3 releases. So that we could be like, hey, we're not talking about, we don't want to open this can of worms. We've got enough worms already. Thanks.
Right. So it's, if we had to slow people down and make them think and ask them for like to put their foot down on something, right? We have to set the expectation. Like, let me put it in another way. For example, we've talked several times about having the last release in the year. Uh, Basically, there is short of time. There is KubeCon. There is
Mm.
Christmas. There's lots of holidays. So we all, and it's always a short release, and so it almost feels like if we can designate the last release of the year as a stabilization release, and basically say no features allowed. Uh,
Yeah.
if we can come up with some kind of that expectation, then people will know that whatever they need to do, they need to get in earlier in the year, and then we essentially fight flakes and fix conformance and uh, do the technical debt clear up for the whole year in the last
Mm.
cycle. That's the only thing that I can think of at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a short-term goal that we can quickly roll out um,
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I increasingly think that if we if we want to increase the supportability of Kubernetes in the long term, that's what we have to do, because it's such a big project now. Like, and the thing that this whole exercise of trying to change the support window has taught me is that when you want to get such a big project to change things, like, you've got to be incremental about it. Like, otherwise, you end up with, how long has this working group been around? Like 2.5 years now, or something like that. Yeah. So like we've got to find small, relatively easily implemented things that people will probably agree to, with a minimum of hassle, if we want to. And the more we do those things, the more we will prove that you can change things, and then it will be easier to make bigger and bigger and bigger changes.
Right.
Yeah, I think, like, I think having the last release of the year be stabilization is a great idea, personally. But we probably need to. That feels like we'll definitely need to talk to SIG release about that one. I'd rather not make them panic again, like I did when I put the wrong release on the Kepler initially. I feel like I've used up my scaring release tokens for my lifetime. Yeah, so that one is fair.
There is some momentum behind it that we can gather because SIG testing is trying to clamp down on stuff, and SIG release, is kind of like has its hands full because of the long release that we've had for 119, and the CI is still in a mess when we are trying to stabilize it in many ways. So they would be definitely be amenable to it. What we're going to face, thinking aloud, is the teams that rely on features like Node or
Yeah.
not even API machinery to that extent. But there are teams that rely on getting things in, and those are the ones that are not going to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Everybody who still has all the SIGs who still have a relatively large, change set every release are going to be like, ooh,
Right.
missing a release a year kind of sucks. So I mean, I would probably put maybe. I mean, I think, I think SIG Node is really the only one where a lot of it is still in the core, though, right? Like, and it's still coupled with the thing. Like, and most of the network stuff is
Yeah,
sort of being cracked out.
network storage, everything ends up in Node.
Yeah.
So then the question would be, what are the things we would expect the SIGs to work on during the stabilization release? Is basically a checklist of things that we need to tell them, look, these are the things that you need to do in the stabilization release. If we tell them don't do features, they're going to balk. So we have to say, do these things first, and if you still have room, then do features. Or that doing features should be the last thing on their list of to do items. Like we have to front load them with a bunch of things saying, push for conformance. Make sure that you add more tests for conformance. Promote things that are not in conformance to conformance, right? Make sure that there are no flakes. Make sure you add CI jobs for the things that you needed CI jobs, but you put them off, right? Like come up with this kind of a checklist where we give them a bunch of tasks to do, and so they'll have their hands full, basically.
Basically having that last release of the year be the one where SIG testing gets to be like, hey, you got to do your chores before you get your ice cream. Like,
exactly. Right.
Yeah. 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 I just gonna put that down. I like that turn of phrase. Right there.
This is not my phrase. It came from Jordan for sure. But yeah. We had a similar talk in a different in the SIG testing stuff, and then I'm like reflecting on what was said there.
I'm crediting myself with it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. So, and I mean, I think thank you for coming to the call. By the way, like it's with the cap invertible, like we haven't had many people showing up, and since we're monthly as well, it's been harder to get people to show up because no one's coming.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense to me. I guess, but the fact that that we're talking about this also sort of raises another point for this working group, which is like, should this working group really be called like supportability rather than LTS? Like basically, or should we do something else other than LTS or something like that? Because it seems valuable to have somebody, some sort of relatively broad group focused on, on just making sure that the overall supportability of the project is being poked forward, where there's these cross-cutting things like, like that sort of thing, where because you've got testing, node, release, all needing to be involved in that, and without sort of some sort of coordination function to have a place to raise this sort of thing, then it's on a single person like you to head to all of those SIGs and actually make the change happen, rather than having a place where people can come and be like, hey, I think that we could increase the supportability by doing this.
Okay, so take a peek at this doc, and I'll point you to the thread also. Where is this thread? This is on. This is spilled over many different email. Are you in SIG architecture mailing list?
I am. Yes.
Look for the email thread started by Wojtek.
Okay.
Talking about reliability. I'm trying to get you a link here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And the doc is the one that was pasted by, Wojtek.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Let me give you the email where it came from as well, so you know the context. So you should definitely talk to Wojtek.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
This kind of goes with the flow of what you were talking about, like increasing stability of Kubernetes. So you are VMware, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and where are you located?
Sydney.
Sydney. Yeah. So maybe if we are done, we can switch a little bit. I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. Let me make the yeah. So we'll probably call a call done. I'll just type the notes for that the about that so that we can talk about it another time. And then yeah, hit me up with a /Zoom link and I'll join you there.
Okay, sounds good. Give me 5 minutes and then I'll shoot you a link.
Sorry to everyone who might be watching the recording that this was a bit of a weird call, but yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll see more people on a future SIG on a future WG LTS meeting.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.